only. All right, let's talk. Yeah, I don't fuck with weed. Makes me anxious. But every time Lamar walks in smiling like that, I want to try it again. Got pretty much everything in here. Keep your eyes open.
Mm, can you stop? You better calm down.
Got some cool stuff here for you. Stay strapped.
Got something new just for you. That one's brand new. Just hit the market. You didn't see me.
What?
Hey,
What's wrong?
Mr. Rubio. We steal from him, and he restocks the cupboards with goodies, huh? Well, judging from the lack of terrified screams, I will assume you made it through the uncharted tunnel and into the den of strung-out militiamen. Good. Things are going according to plan, huh? Now, let's see what he has for us in the vault this time. Are you in? You did not get sucked into a turbine. Ah, I knew you'd be fine. How likely is it I have two operations in the same way, huh? Now, we look for the vault. Maybe start in the central building. Be careful in this area. Mr. Rubio's personal bodyguards. They know their soldiers, and they will know you are not one of them, no matter what uniform you are wearing. Good thinking. Always check the safe. I'm sorry, the CCTV image is a little blurry. Was that a gun made of gold? Well, that looks expensive. Perfect. You find a locked door. In my experience, you can also find the key. You must use them simultaneously. If you are considering using the cliff as an escape route, I have done some calculations, and you would have a better chance of survival running directly at the bullets.
¿Felipe le dio las llaves?
No. ¿Me las tenía que dar? Lo vi hace poco.
Sí. Seguro se lo olvidó a ese pendejo.
Welcome back. I promise I will not drink this when you get it back to the sub, unless you want to, in which case I will bring the caviar. From what I can tell, they have sealed the drainage pipe. You will need another way out. Extra guards just arrived. Be careful. Good work. The compound is behind us, and they still have no idea what's hit them. We are almost home. Just get out of there. I have to move this up. Sending you the new coordinate now. The cries of the impotent despot is beautiful, no? Attack boats in the water. Be careful. Well, judging from their comms, it sounds like Mr. Rubio is reaching for his helicopter again. That's it. That's everyone. We regroup as soon as possible, then head home.
Okay.
What you carrying lately? What can I get you? Keep your eyes open.
That's a hell of a ride you got there. Sole, maloka vale. Hey, I really like your car.
It was 9 days before he died. His death was ruled a suicide, as you well know. In the few days that you're presented, Epstein, did you have access to any of the grand jury testimony?
No, I did not. And we wouldn't ordinarily, at that stage of the case, have access to the grand jury testimony. That's something you have to move for, and sometimes you don't get it at all. Sometimes until the witness testifies and that sort of thing. But it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But, as you say, there was some pressure brought here to seek the records. I think, give them credit. They are going out to ask for the...
Bitch, where is my car?
Release now. I'm not sure the judge is going to do it.
Yeah.
But maybe he or she will.
And Dave Ehrenberg, even if the judge does so, we're talking about a fraction of the overall file that would be available. We're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of pages that were built in. We're told about the overall file. And now the grand jury, but a fraction of that. What do you expect to see coming out of the release? Keeping in mind, everyone tries to, obviously say that prosecutors can indict a ham sandwich. And so grand jury testimony might read very differently to people than, say, in a courtroom, in a court of law, before a trial jury with the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt, not the probable cause in a grand jury. But what do you expect to see come out of the release?
There's some evidence against Jeffrey Epstein, much of which has been given to the public anyways. I don't think you're going to see anything great, especially because there's a condition that Trump was putting on this. It must be pertinent, which means has nothing to do with him. And that's not going to satisfy the MAGA base. They want to see the whole file, the whole enchilada. They're not going to be satisfied with grand jury files, especially ones that are redacted. So this is to placate the base, but ultimately there's going to be a day of reckoning. They want the files, and Trump is reluctant to do so because his relationship with Epstein is featured in the files, even though there's no allegation that he was part of a sex trafficking ring. But the fact is that this is an embarrassing story, and he doesn't want to go any further. But by keeping them secret, it perpetuates this story. And as I like to say, the alligator is always hungry. That MAGA base, they're fed on conspiracy theories, and they want answers. And they're just never going to get it because the facts are counter to what they believe.
You raise a really important point, and I will get to you on this, David Schoen, because part of the reason you don't want to release grand jury testimony and that probable cause ruling is because there is a presumption of innocence still, and there's a lot of intimations and assumptions and inferences that could be raised just by virtue of appearing in various forms. I don't know what might be contained and was not contained in it, but you have said, Dave, showing that even on this program earlier this week, that Epstein did not have, he told you that he did not have any dirt on President Trump. So what do you make of the Wall Street Journal reporting on the collection of letters that apparently were gifted, they say, to Epstein for his 50th birthday in the early 2000s that allegedly includes a racy note with the president's name and some kind of graphic drawing of a woman?
Well, he has said he didn't do it. It's not his, so I take him at his word for that. But I think the book thing, again, it's a non-issue. These are a bunch of guys who were wealthy folks, friends with Epstein at the time, socialized with him. They knew he was into sex. They're making these sort of male jokes and that sort of thing. But I have to disagree with one thing. Dave Ehrenberg is my friend, but I don't believe for a second that President Trump is not allowing the disclosure. He's talking because he's worried about himself. He is not. All of the stuff about him and his friendship and excluding Epstein from his club and his life years and years ago is all out in the public domain already. But here's the danger, as you were mentioning, Laura, and you're also right about your example, but here's the danger. For example, in the Virginia Jeffrey case, when Judge Preska released those documents, her rationale basically was most of the stuff is in the public domain. So what happened? There was an accusation that Al Gore was on the island. He denied it vehemently. And it's very difficult to retract allegations once they're out there. People hear it, oh, gee, I know Al Gore was a part of this ring mill. That's not true. That's the problem with just releasing things willy-nilly without any kind of filter. And we don't just pander to this Tucker Carlson base because they want to see it. But I think you're right with that your cookie example. Once you get a little bit, people are going to want more and more and more. And I don't think this is the kind of thing you succumb to. We don't break down the system and the rules just because of curiosity.
Well, I'll ask you, Ehrenberg, about give a mouse a cookie example. What say you?
Well, I've got to put back, as my friend David showed, I do think that there's some new stuff in those files that Trump doesn't want out, like this birthday card. Now, I know Trump can say this is a hoax, but you notice that Attorney General Bondi has not denied that the birthday card appears in the Epstein file. I think that's telling. It looks like it's in there. And if you push it too far, Ghislaine Maxwell can come up and say, yeah, I'm a witness. That was in there. So you got to be careful here. And if you start suing based on this for defamation, that opens you up to depositions and discovery. You don't want that. So I'm with you also on the cookie example of Laura. Yeah.
You can never appease these guys. You can never appease the alligator. They're going to want more, and eventually they're going to post their face off. Too bad I don't have anything to sell from my Girl Scout daughter. I would have made a fortune tonight, fellas. Thank you both. With me now, former Republican Congressman Joe Walsh and CNN political commentator Sir Michael Singleton. Neither of you bring up cookies for her. All right, but I take the example. Sir Michael, let me ask you, the unsealing of grand jury testimony is a fraction of it. You have heard from the MAGA base who's so invested based on campaign promises and discussions about this. They want it all. They want the whole kit and caboodle. Yeah. Does this even scratch the itch?
I don't know. I really feel like the cat's sort of out of the bag a little bit. And I think even if they do release some information, Laura, I got to tell you, I think Pam Bondi here is really damaged. I know the president's standing by her, but I think you do run the risk that next year the president was able to build an intriguing coalition of district voters who don't typically vote, non-traditional voters, in order to win last. A lot of young men in particular who just completely said, I don't care about politics, voted for him because of the sort of manosphere. Now, a lot of those very well-known individuals are talking about this. And Republicans cannot afford, with the slim majority we have in the House, to lose any of the individuals that turned out for Trump in November next year, when we're facing midterms trying to save seats and maybe win even more. So this is going to be very, very challenging politically. The White House has to be careful with how they have this move forward.
I'm just going to add to it. So we have a poll out that talks about men under 35, I believe, to show it whether they're satisfied or dissatisfied with the amount of info released. This is 65% of men under 35 are dissatisfied. That adds to what you're talking about.
Real problem. And again, if you look at certain districts where we have vulnerable Republicans, purple folks who are running in districts that maybe Trump barely won, or maybe the few that Vice President Harris won, you're looking at maybe putting 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Republicans up for really challenging races if they need to sort of pull together that very interesting, unique coalition in order to win. So this is the problem they got to address.
Well, Joe, I want you to address that point, but I'm really curious about this because in the land of, one step forward, two steps back, some people are wondering with the Wall Street Journal story, is the two step back when it comes to even supporting Trump, because you've got the early reaction from the MAGA world, including, Benny Johnson saying, quote, what a weak, pathetic hit piece. Laura Loomer saying, quote, someone is getting fired at the Wall Street Journal. You've got Charlie Kirk saying, quote, this is not how Trump talks at all. I don't believe it. Could this be a charge he needs?
Yes. There is a circling of the wagons right now. But they're up against a mountain that's been going on now for 6 years. Pam Bondi's messed up. But who's to blame for this? You had Donald Trump Jr., J.D. Vance, Pam Bondi, every right-wing talker for the last 6 years out there telling his base, this is the mother lode. Laura, it's a man. Oh, no. I can't say it. This is a villain so evil, so sinister, so horribly evil, that even the utterance of his name strikes fear into the hearts of men.
The only safe way to refer to this King of Darkness is simply him.
Oh, no. He animates the base more than the deep state. The deep state. And this Epstein scandal, Trump and all of his cheerleaders said was going to finally expose the deep state. And now Donald Trump says, no, nothing to see there. To Shermichael's point.
So your point, essentially, just to underscore it, that this is much less about the actual facts here, but more symbolic of the wealthy elite getting away with something and don't trust the government, which, of course, is running counter to what Trump is now saying. Trust us. There's nothing more to see here. Can you have both ways?
Yes. No, you can't. They've envisioned Donald Trump as the great slayer of the deep state. That's why this issue so resonates with the base, because he's turned on that. And to Sir Michael's point, a lot of these voters are not Republicans. If they're disillusioned, they're not going to vote.
Tell me what you think about this pressure campaign on yet another media outlet, the Wall Street Journal, where you start to pursue what's the impact on the
I really, Joe and I were talking about this. I'm skeptical about this article. Well, why didn't they publish a copy of this supposed letter? How many individuals did they speak to verify the veracity of whatever single individual said, hey, I've seen this thing that really exists? I'm skeptical. I want to see this. I want to make sure that the journalists or journalists plural who are involved in writing this thing can come forward and we need to ask them, where'd you get this information from? And have you verified this information? So the Republicans who are coming to the president's defense, I think they should do that because they have no proof outside of this one article that we don't know if it's real, if it's not real. So I don't know, Laura. You got to be careful with publishing things and you're not proving to the public that you've actually seen as a journalist that a said thing exists. You're just going off of what's a hearsay. You're a lawyer. That's the most important.
The theme of the today is becoming transparency, and who will be satisfied with the lack thereof, or with this venture. Michael, Joe, thank you both so much. There's much more in the country news ahead. Former Attorney General Eric Holder is standing by with his reaction. August, and we can hear what he has to say.
Wait, Noom has GLP-1 meds now?
Noom? Psychology-based weight loss company?
Yeah, Noom combines medication and behavior change so you can lose the weight and keep it on.
And it starts just $149.
Noom, the smart way to lose weight. When Mona was ready to sell her ring, she sent it to Worthy, where they took care of everything and auctioned it on her terms. Then, Worthy sent out her money. You're worthy of more. Get started at worthy.com. Precise designs, subtle curves, curated upgrades, updated design for thoughtful living.
Join me right on the door as I introduce you to Africa's trendsetters. See how they use their talent, resources, and passion to make a difference on the continent. This is African Voices Changemakers.
Through action and impact, Dale Cato and Educate Wadja are using sports to spark change worldwide.
Running is the basis for what I'm doing as an activist.
African Voices Changemakers on CNN.
I'm quickly loose down at the port of Hong Kong. This. Yeah, that. Oh, there was another one. That was another controlled explosion. It's one nurse for this whole area here. We come in here to buy medicine because I'm only for this. On the ground, I bring you the most important story of our time. Now, I share them with you here. A very warm welcome to the show, everyone. I'm Isa Suarez.
Isa Suarez tonight, weekdays on CNN.
Fuck!
I don't like it. My father started making milk tea when he opened the food stall in 1952, and he taught me how to do it too.
The tea maker scoops up the tea and boils it, and scoops it up again. It takes around 20 to 30 minutes to boil a pot. I hope people know that food is very important here, and milk tea is a big part of Hong Kong's food culture.
Our breaking news tonight, President Trump directing Attorney General Pam Bondi to, quote, produce any and all pertinent grand jury testimony subject to court approval. This after the Wall Street Journal published an article stating that Trump sent Jeffrey Epstein a bawdy, their words, letter for his birthday in 2003. The Attorney General saying tonight that she's ready to go to the court tomorrow. With me now, former Attorney General under President Obama, General Eric Holder. A.G. Holder, welcome. This Attorney General, Pam Bondi, says she's going to court tomorrow to try to ask the court commission to release grand jury testimony as it's required. How long should that actually take for the public to see any testimony? And would you have supported that process?
Well, it's interesting. You have to know the facts, and I don't have the files in front of me. I don't have the ability to make an assessment about if the release of this material will somehow compromise law enforcement operations, reveal unnecessarily the identities of people, including victims. So it's kind of a hard thing to make the judgment on. I'm a person who tends to favor transparency. I always want to make sure, on the other hand, that we are protecting the privacy rights of people, and particularly people who are victims. It's an interesting thing. I mean, you might think, well, one of the ways you might handle this is to have somebody in the Justice Department, perhaps a disinterested U.S. attorney, curate the material and then release them in that way. But they have so attacked the Justice Department, so attacked career prosecutors, that kind of possibility is not there. And, they've also just raised doubts about the ability of people in law enforcement, in government generally, to do things in a disinterested way. And so they close off a number of options that they otherwise might have.
You're right. The credibility seems to be in a deficit, particularly on those who are calling for the release of all materials, even in terms of the sensitivity factors you have raised. And now it's kind of, the seed has been watered, and now that big plant is here. But what kind of position is Bondi in? And how do you think that she's handling things? It's kind of a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, well, when you identify yourself as a essentially the lawyer for the president, as opposed to the disinterested attorney general who represents the people of the United States. There's a certain amount of credibility that you are forfeiting by taking that position. But that is the way in which she has operated. And even the statement that the president made tonight, essentially directing the attorney general to go into court and to file a motion. Again, that's inconsistent with the way in which attorneys general conduct themselves, the way justice departments see themselves. You know, you're part of an administration, yeah, but there is a wall generally between what happens in the Justice Department and what is demanded by people in the White House. You know, the politics is separated from law enforcement.
You have not been the Attorney General for now several administrations, and yet the president is claiming that this is his words, that the files were made up by Comey, Obama, Biden administration. You were under the Obama administration. Were you aware of any of this?
No. There's a whole bunch of stuff about this that doesn't make a lot of sense. That is simply absurd.
Let me ask you as well. I mean, Epstein was first prosecuted, I think, in 2006. He was released from jail in 2009. That's when you became the Attorney General under President Obama. Maureen Comey prosecuted Epstein in 2019. She was successful in part in terms of trying to secure the indictment, and of course, Ghislaine Maxwell. Was there any thought of Epstein being investigated and prosecuted again during your tenure?
You know, I don't know. I mean, that stuff never rose to my level. There might have been investigations going on in the Southern District of New York, other offices, but it's never anything that reached the fifth floor of the Justice Department where the Attorney General sits. So I'm not really in a position to say, what was going on.
Do you have concerns about the impact of firing a career prosecutor like Maureen Comey? I mean, obviously we don't know all the reasons and what's been happening, but what is your take on her being fired and the impact on line prosecutors who are not political appointees?
Yeah, I think that is it's a travesty. The notion that you would fire a great prosecutor like Maureen Comey, I know her. I know of her reputation. She's dedicated a substantial portion of her professional career to the Justice Department to enforce the law. Has done so fairly. Has done so extremely well. And she is then dismissed for, I don't know, because who her father is, or because of the role she played in connection with the Epstein matter. You know, is just abhorrent. But it's also part of a larger picture where this administration has fired career prosecutors, career agents at the FBI, simply because they were doing their jobs and doing so in a non-political way. And now, so what has happened to Maureen Comey is unfortunately consistent with what they have been doing in other places. And they have weakened the Justice Department. They have weakened the reputation of the Justice Department, and they have really kind of painted themselves into a corner where they're going to now have to rely on the credibility of the Justice Department and members of the Justice Department, including the Attorney General, and they've eroded that confidence in the department by the way in which they treated members of the Department of Justice.
I want to talk more broadly about the picture, literally the maps that we have in this country when you talk about politics and districts. And right now, you are working with Democrats on redistricting. President Trump is suggesting that Texas should redraw congressional maps to pick up 5 seats. In response, Governor Newsom of California and Congressman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, they're calling for California and New York to do the same in order to gain Democratic seats. We know the problems of gerrymandering and the legacy that it has left in this country. Is this tit-for-tat redistricting the right thing for this country?
Oh, I think first off, what we need to do is try to do redistricting when we're supposed to do it. It's every 10 years, not mid-cycle. Republicans are trying to redistrict in Texas because they're afraid that they're going to lose the House in 2026 because of a terrible budget bill that has taken health care away from people, people are concerned about the way in which they're enforcing immigration policy, having masked men snatch people off the street. We see inflation ticking up. I mean, they're real concerned. They think they're going to lose control of the House in 2026. And so what they're going to try to do, Texas and Ohio, is to gerrymander, even to a greater extent than they already have. I mean, we're suing Texas already with regard to the gerrymander that they put in place in 2020. So I don't, so I stand for fairness, and we're going to fight them with regard to what they try to do in Texas. If they put an enhanced gerrymander on top of the ones they already have, we will sue. I'm actually pretty confident that we can win that case. So we'll see what happens. What I would also say is that people can join us in this effort. Fight gerrymandering if you text democracy to 36787. Text democracy to 36787 and be a part of this fight against gerrymandering.
With the Weakening of the Voting Rights Act and, of course, the formula in Section 5, is individual and civil litigation the only tool available, or is there more that can be done under federal law?
Well, yeah, I mean, we have weakened tools under the Supreme Court rulings that unfortunately we've had to deal with, but there are still tools that we can use. Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act is one that still remains. But I think people need to get involved at a grassroots level and hold accountable people politicians who will try to put in systems where politicians are choosing their voters as opposed to citizens choosing who their representatives ought to be. And vote those people out. If politicians in Texas try to gerrymander, if they're going to try mid-cycle, give more seats to Republicans than they deserve, those politicians need to be held accountable. People need to get to the polls and vote them out.
General Holder, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
As you know, Democrats are demanding more information on Jeffrey Epstein and President Trump. Holder, are they satisfied with Trump's calls to now release grand jury transcripts? After this.
The Whole Story with Anderson Cooper, Emmy winner for Outstanding Recorded News Program 2 years in a row. CNN's best journalists share deeply reported stories.
Do you ever get really depressed? Do you look at the state of the world and the state of the climate fight?
Some of music's biggest names show Bill Weir the way star power can help combat a crisis.
Revolution you're both fighting for involves new kinds of clean energy, less waste. How do you convince a live music crowd that those things are cool?
The Whole Story with Anderson Cooper on CNN.
Unlock new ideas.
My fourth weekend.
Who was getting those briefings in this city, and who would have ultimately made the decision to evacuate?
I'm Richard Quest. I love traveling the world. Broaden the mind, open the heart. I'm not done yet. It's time to embrace new adventures. It is Turkey, like I've never seen it before. Find the fun. Seize the moments.
I've never met a dessert that I didn't like.
This world of wonder. I don't want to leave.
Only on CNN.
You know the deal.
This is CNN.
Okay, let's do this. This new stuff, fresh out of the box. No background check. Don't even worry about it.
What is power? Is it control? Is it freedom? Or is it something tribal? Maybe the better question is, how much of it can you handle? In the GMC Sierra EV Denali. Celebrate Independence Day. Get 2.9% APR on 2025 GMC Sierra EV Denali models. Plus, current eligible Costco members receive up to $12.50 allowance. Are you ready for a great offer on an amazing mattress? Actually, make that your choice of 3 top-of-the-line mattress brands from Rooms to Go. Now easy to buy thanks to 72-month interest-free financing. Choose from the latest Beauty Rest Black, Stearns & Foster, or Tempur-Pedic mattresses. Premium choices, the ultimate in comfort and support. Yours with special interest-free financing for 6 years. That will put your mind at rest only at Rooms to Go.
I'm Zain Asha, and this is CNN.
So, House Speaker Mike Johnson made his first comments on President Trump's call to unseal relevant or pertinent Epstein grand jury testimony.
Look, I think he's been very consistent. He wants to release all credible information and evidence and brings it his way and what he stated. Everybody in the party that I know.
Wow.
60 million people, they can draw their own conclusions. So he's in the process of releasing the information that can be released. It's not held up by a court or involves, victims of crimes or something like that.
And then, Mr. Speaker, have you seen any comment on the Wall Street Journal report about the letter that President Trump sent to Jeffrey Epstein years ago?
I haven't seen it. I can't comment on it. I've been a little busy today.
What are your thoughts on it?
President Trump may hope that disclosing the testimony will quiet critics. We expect Democrats to stay silent. New York Congressman Dan Goldman posting on X, quote, "What about videos, photographs, and other recordings? What about FBI 302s, witness testimony? What about texts and emails? That's where the evidence about Trump and others will be. Grand jury testimony will only..." If you have PCOS, you probably heard people say that you need to cut out dairy and gluten. But here's the truth. Of course, for some,
All of y'all have been calling for the bags that's not invaded Houston, Texas, coming to you loud because get bags off. Well, it's too late. You got to be quicker than that, Mo. This is how I know you didn't come in there, Grandma. Okay. Quicker than that. So my question is, what you did, Mo, you stood on your motherfucking table and you said,
I was saying that there are people that wouldn't want to do certain things.
And you said you was one of that was one of the things that you would want to your girl. You said you're not coming in your girl's house. You said my girl. No, you said you wouldn't come in your girlfriend's house. Nah. I don't remember.
To be honest, if she
Nah,
if that's what she wants,
Mo. I remember you specifically saying that the show, and you were saying that bitch is nasty to come in the bitch mouth. No, I'm not. No, you said. No, you said my wife. You said my wife. And now we was over there talking about why would you niggas go out in the motherfucking street doing dirty shit with your mother when you won't do the dirty shit with your wife, but you will be over there doing dirty shit with a bitch out in the street.
and I said there's certain things you wouldn't want to do too. Perfect. And the example
Give me the perfect example.
that I gave you specifically
was coming in. I wish I could see her point.
Was the one with the anal where I say you fuck them in the ass and then you take it out, you put it in their mouth.
No, Mo, that's not what you said. I didn't say it was specifically about yes, and you stood all up and walked around the motherfucking circle like you was gonna swing on us.
You gonna make me fucking do something, bitch.
I feel like you was gonna attack me for being a trainee, and that you was gonna knock me because I was saying that why you niggas get out there in the street and fuck. relationship with the bitch and you become a home, tell your girl, you don't do that.
That's not what I said. That is not what I said.
Knowing y'all be peeing all into the bitch mouth, peeing in their ass.
Okay, so let's just say you were married right now. Would you let your husband pee in your mouth?
No.
Why?
Because I don't want to be out peed in.
But no, but the point was that we were making was.
No.
That's my point.
No.
Random people that you
But I'm not going out the street like no nigga, other nigga pee in my mouth either.
So, you're moving on the plane. It's at McKenzie Airfield. Logistics are as yet undecided. Go in how you like, but go in with a good supply of ammunition, armor, and maybe even explosives. It's gonna get kinda heavy. Like I said before, the airfield is under Vago's control. They're using the plane to make trafficking runs across the border. That means it's already set up to take Reshkovsky out of the country. Limited radar visibility, plausible cover story. It's perfect. Don't let the fact that there are a bunch of angry drug dealers waiting for you affect how you go in, or actually do.
Bitch.
Some more background on the Vagos. Okay. Globalized, multinational, decentralized criminal network. Their principal interest is in drug trafficking, but they've diversified into mid-level distribution, end-user sales, and trafficking other contraband. You get caught with a kilo of coke, they throw the book at you. You're caught with a quart of capybara semen, it's a slap on the wrist. And the market for large endangered rodent ejaculate is lucrative. Most of the Vagos upper management, shot callers if you like, are already incarcerated here in the States and throughout Central and Latin America. They run the network on cell phones and it's a relatively flat hierarchy at the top. So if you cut one head off, there's 6 more waiting to bite. Not that I want to dismantle any criminal networks. As you know, I'm a criminal myself. I just like to do my homework. Criminal homework. Prison Angle's gonna help us sell our raid on Bolingbroke. It's not something that they would do, but it's the kind of thing the authorities believe that they would do, which is all that really matters. You get me? Okay.
I know.
Looks like a shit show down there. Clear the airstrip before you think about taking that bird into the sky. If the plane gets shot up, we're back to Alpha. Keep it up down there. The more noise you make at the airstrip, the more plausible the cover story becomes. Vago's cell phones are going loco, people. Expect more of them any second now. But remember, the mission is the plane. The gang task force better send us a thank you for this. Even more Vagos coming at ya. Air traffic's telling me the bird is airborne. Stay at the airstrip and deal with any more Vagos that come at you. This operation will not be compromised by blowback from this. I think that's all the Vagos have got. In a few weeks, we'll leak this to a sympathetic reporter, and they'll get fingered for the breakout. Now clear the area and clear up any stray traffickers you encounter.
And let you pop a whole new. Oh, your ass that bullshit. Bitch, you got my chest and now you got a toilet for that. Well, here's all I'm saying. I don't want just the basic everyday sex at the house and the bed. Sometimes I want to fuck in the car. I want to be in a public bathroom somewhere. Like we might be in, you know what I'm saying? We might be in a restaurant. Now we talking about just back in the park and stuff. Stay in the park. That's different from them in house park. With strangers. They're saying they're strangers. And the new BMW was tied down. Girl, just know that I'm going to leave it with you. The correct card to get the girl down there to get you, girl. Girl, I got to stay away from you. Listen, I had my dick sucked leaving a Luther Vandross concert one time. Girl, wasn't Luther that he? He wasn't gay. Can we get a commercial break, please? We ain't in a commercial. I need you to run that promo again. Luther was not gay. He's always been a woman. For the bad, yes, dumped it. Well, Patty said even the ball. Well, Patty said a lot of things.
Secret to leave again? Look at this box. Play Super Serum Body Wash.
Patty said it was wrong. Patty said, see, I got to take it. I need to go take it. All three of them.
just naturally do it, And she said no. They said no. That's another one that's hard for me. I got it tattooed on my wrist in her handwriting, the word they, because when she was first asking for a change in pronouns, it was exceptionally hard for me. And she used to write, they used to write they on a piece of paper and then hold it up in front of me so that I would remember. So I took one of those pieces of papers and I took her and we got it tattooed on my wrist. Look, I showed you that. But in case you haven't seen it, look.
Mom.
They, right?
Mom.
But I still, by mistake, say
I see you.
And it's not a lack of want, desire, or respect, or understanding. They told me they were non-binary. Imagine having the courage at 10 years old to tell your mother that. It's unfathomable to me. They actually asked me, how old were you when you knew what you were? And I said, I was about 10, too. And they said, what did your class say when you told them that you were gay? What did my class say? It's kind of a beautiful quality to, it's a beautiful quality that she has many beautiful qualities. And it's been a joy for me to raise this non-binary human. What a gift at 50. Then I'm going to try to stop. And the same way I'm trying to stop with she and they. It's complicated because of the cultural, plural stuff, right? They is usually two. When I do get it right and I say they, then people here go, who's they? I thought you were talking about your kid. I was like, okay, I have to explain this again. But, I want to do it. I wish I could take a magic pill and be able to do it,
So I just wanted to, because I really believe that Rosie is really making to say them and they. And so, like, again, for me, it's not about being right. I think some people think that I'm intentionally trying not to make the effort, but I just simply say it's easier to say a person's name. And you see how many times in this struggle 2-minute clip, how many times Rosie said she or her. She said it even before she acknowledged, oh, see, I put it again. Like, and I think that she's really sincerely trying to make that point. It goes to something we've talked about here before. For you as a trans person, you had to give Miss Mary grace. As a gay person, I had to give my family grace in the sense that when I first told my mom, she wasn't okay with it. My father was okay right out the gate, which surprised me, because a lot of times mothers are quicker to embrace. But my mother was not okay with it, and I had to realize that it took me 22 years to get comfortable enough in my skin to start acting out on the feelings and exploring my sexuality. So I couldn't expect my mother to be okay with it after 2 weeks of me telling her. And I say this to all queer people. I think sometimes we have to give our family members and friends some grace to come around. Now, that doesn't mean that we have to stick around and let them abuse us and be ignorant and say mean things and, be hateful. But I think sometimes when they really are trying, we have to give them grace because that's not the life that they necessarily planned for us. Just like you struggle with it.
Chicken dip, sorry, signature sauce.
That chicken. Most of us anyway, not every queer person struggled with their identity, but a lot of us did struggle with it and we resisted, hence being in the closet. Okay, for me, Craig, it's not for me because I've learned a lot more recently and still, they and them's not hard for me. It's not hard. If Mo told me today that they are going to become non-binary, let's just say that they would say they're non-binary. It's just like, okay, I'll call you Mo, and then I'm talking about Mo to you. I'm like, well, they told me that they're no longer going by he, him. They're going to be they, them, they. It's not hard. It's not hard for me because I get it. Like I understand because it's just like when you tell somebody when they ask, well, hey, uh, you know, what they doing out there? You know, we use that kind of shit. What they doing? Well, when you say that, you're thinking people are out there doing something. Yeah, but it's not hard. But and again, maybe it's not for you. But Rosie is saying it's been hard for her. And we got to remember that everybody is different. Well, this is how we're looking at a classroom with children, right? Every child is different. You can't even say that because geometry is easy for this kid, that it should also be correct. That I understand. Like looking at Rosie, I would think that Rosie would have been if they day. And I know, now you know, you talk about Rosie is gay, girl, where have you been? Where the hell have you been? And another thing, what they say, because we miss Jackie Washington.
Move.
Jackie Washington today, man.
Way.
Rosie is 63 years old. Bitch, when I take that milk, age is like, don't do Rosie. They can't help what they is. They was born on this earth, and honey, somebody gave them that. She is not them that. Oh, I'm just showing you an example of how easy it is for me to look at that, and say, hey, hey. But I do want to say while we're here in this Rosie O'Donnell space, she been tearing that motherfucking Donald Trump up, bitch. What she did by Donisha? Oh God! So she issued this thing.
What you carrying lately?
It was on her TikTok. Let me go with her TikTok.
So what you
But
looking for?
she has moved to Ireland. Her family's roots are Irish. She's Irish.
Eyes open.
She's Irish, and so she's relocated to Ireland because she's trying to get citizenship there, and she'll also have citizenship here in the United States. Now, of course, that nigga in the White House talking about he gonna revoke her citizenship, which she cannot do. But she is a U.S. citizen. She was born here. She would have to renounce her own citizenship, or she'd have to be guilty of treason, like selling American secrets and shit to other countries. So anyway, she's now in Ireland. When she saw that he was going to win that election, she moved herself and the children to another country, to Ireland. What do they think that Trump is going to be in office only for 4 years? Do they think that the things that are being implemented or that are being placed into law, it's only going to last just these 4 years and then? Well, but he has a personal vendetta against her, and God willing, he will die soon from the most aggressive form of cancer. But they had this fallout years ago around like one of those pageant systems. He owns or owned a pageant system. And long story short, Rosie O'Donnell spoke out about that, and that's when their feud started. But she has said over the years that he's a racist. She said that he's definitely a part of the Epstein files and this, that, and the third. And so she put this on her TikTok, and she's pinned it to the top. And because basically this is after he threatens to revoke her citizenship. So she says, my response, hey, Donald, you're rattled again. 18 years later, and I still live rent-free in that collapsing brain of yours. You call me a threat to humanity, but I'm everything you fear. A loud woman, a queer woman, a mother who tells the truth, an American who got out before you set the country caught fire, you build walls. I build a life for my autistic kid in a country where decency still exists. You crave loyalty. I teach my children to question power. You sell fear on golf courses. I make art about surviving trauma. You lie, you steal, you degrade. I nurture, I create, I persist. You are everything that is wrong with America, and I'm everything you hate about what's still right with it. You want to revoke my citizenship? Go ahead and try. King Joffrey with a tangerine spray tan. I'm not yours to silence. I never was. And so she talks about him. But they've been having this thing going back and forth for years, even from when she was on The View, those of you who remember that. And but she's always called him out. And so again,
All
she
these
moved to
low
Ireland
ass
because her
players,
family
bitch. Jesus.
is Irish, her history, her lineage, and it's easier to get citizenship when you have family roots. Just like those of us who are descendants of Africa, like if you do your African ancestry, I don't mean that 23andMe, but if you do your African ancestry and figure out what country you're from, there are African countries that are making it easier for you to become a citizen in that country because you have roots in that country. But yeah, so she's been doing interviews all over Ireland about him and what's happening here in this country. Huh?
Yeah, no problem. I got you. This is really about that.
But I like Rosie. I've always liked Rosie. Wait a minute, what? Who's fucking outside of Home Depot?
I told him I need him to take me to Nigeria. So I get my citizenship.
My God,
so I go there with 10,000 naira. No, not with 10,000 naira. No. No.
Okay.
Not with no 10,000 naira. No. But with 10,000 naira, do you? Get you some food. Oh, for real? Yeah. You can go out to eat. With 10,000 naira? Yeah, you can go out to eat. So what if I had 50,000? Can I buy me a house with 10,000? Nah.
I guess while we're in this Donald Trump space, we can talk about how California is really starting to respond to ICE. Oh, yeah, a lot of these cities now are fighting back after they saw what them Haitians did. Them Haitians got to fighting them fucking fake ass police. But they've been, it's the one, yeah, that one. Go ahead.
Wawa Hoagie Fest is here. Enjoy a summer of sandwiches for $6 and under. Gotta have a Wawa.
Native is made with 9 clean ingredients and is good for your skin without leaving white marks or residue.
So that video goes on for about a minute of them blowing horns. That's in California. They found out that ICE, they're staying at that particular hotel. And so the citizens or residents of California are trying to disturb their sleeping. So they're just sitting outside the hotel so that subsequently the hotel won't rent hotel rooms to ICE because now you're disturbing not just the ICE people who are sleeping there, but the other guests. Can you imagine, Bishop, we were out in LA for the show?
So ICE, they have hired regular people to be out.
Regular people are just ICE, yes. And we don't know who these people are because they walk around with masks. And so regular people, everyday people are sitting in their cars. They found out that ICE was staying at that particular hotel. And so they sat outside the hotel all night and blew the horns. And so, again, hopefully, with hopes that the hotel won't rent hotel rooms to ICE.
So.
Earlier, someone mentioned these hellholes, talking about the cities, right? About cities being hellholes. I just want to point to Los Angeles. I'm sure that's one of the cities they were referring to when they said that. Los Angeles contributes almost $20 billion in taxes. You know what? That's more than all states in this country, except for 4. So guess what? If we are going to push any ideologies, it seems like LA should have an outsized interest in the ideology because it seems like they actually contribute more money than all these other states, especially these red states, to be clear. In fact, I have another UC. All right, blue states are bailing out red states. In fact, I have another UC. All right, blue states are bailing out red states. I have another UC. Massachusetts sends more funding to the feds than any other state. It seems like blue states are constantly putting red states on life support, yet we got these little red states that ain't contributing nothing, but they are definitely taking up a lot of money. You know, it is interesting because the governor in California,
The little bitch you hit me is a problem. That's right. Throw her ass back. Get away from me.
decision to evacuate. I'm Richard Quest. I love.
Process the DOJ and essential.
What messages that I deployed? This world of wonder.
Only on CNN.
Where do you go? Where do you go? Wow. Okay, that's great.
25 years inside Africa.
That was the plan, bitch.
Its people, its flavor, its heritage. 25 years of compelling stories.
The impact I want to have is to show the real Africa.
The trailblazers, the youth, Africa's present and future celebrates Inside Africa in association with Zenith Bank.
The City Double Cash Card. Feel the joy of earning unlimited 2% cash back. 1% when you buy, 1% as you pay. The City Double Cash Card. A large touchscreen keeps everyone happy. The Subaru Crosstrek. Dog tested, dog approved.
Get great low rates on any Subaru Crosstrek for a limited time.
Or no. I'm like, finally, bitch. Took long enough, bitch.
Welcome back. I'm John Bowles. Let's take a look at today's top story. CBS cancelling one of the most popular late-night shows on American television. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert will end next year. CBS says the decision is solely for financial reasons and not related in any way to the show's performance, content, or other matters at the parent company Paramount. US President Donald Trump has been diagnosed with a chronic condition in the veins in his legs. Weeks of swelling led him to receive a doctor's examination. The White House also says recent bruising on the back of the president's hand is caused by frequent handshaking and taking aspirin as a blood thinner. And a notorious drug kingpin will face federal weapons in the U.S. Ecuador's highest court approved the extradition of the man known as Vito. He was serving 34 years for homicide and narcotics trafficking, but escaped jail last year. He was on the run until being caught last month. What's being described as the largest expansion of voter rights in the UK in decades could soon be a reality, with voting age lowered to 16. If Parliament approves the plan, it could be a place for the next general election. CNN's Max Foster has details.
16-year-olds are allowed to vote in some other European countries, and it's not entirely new in the UK either, because in national elections in Scotland and in Wales, parts of the UK, 16-year-olds can vote there. And all the evidence is that when they do vote, they tend to go towards left-leaning parties. So the Scottish National Party, for example, north of the border in Scotland. The question is, would that be reflected in wider UK elections? Because whilst younger people tend to vote towards the left here in parts of Europe, there's also a rise in young male voters voting for the right, so it could cancel out. And overwhelmingly, when younger people are allowed to vote, the turnout tends to be quite low, so it doesn't have a huge impact normally. But here in the UK, a very fractious political scene, it might be enough to tip the balance. The question is, would they vote for the ruling Labour Party? Some of the Labour Party want this move because they feel the Labour Party will benefit, or will go further left to the Green Party. So lots of questions. Academics in the UK also pointing out some other interesting things that happen as well when 16-year-olds are allowed to vote. First of all, they get more involved in the political process at a younger age, and there is some evidence to suggest that they're more likely to vote later on. So it does stimulate democracy generally. Also quite interesting to see some research as well that when 16-year-olds are allowed to vote, their parents are more likely to vote as well, to set a good example. So it's going to be an interesting experiment, if you like, at this next UK election, if indeed this does come into force. But frankly, the UK hasn't been terribly engaged in this. It wasn't one of the most popular manifesto promises from this government, but they're going ahead with it anyway. It's not a huge debate, but it could be interesting at the next election. Max Foster, CNN London.
With this just in, US House Republicans have passed a request by President Trump for more...
All right, bitch, let's do it.
Thursday with calls from a number of Republicans for more transparency in the Jeffrey Epstein case. The cuts bill is expected to cancel $9 billion in already approved funding for foreign aid, that's most of it, actually $8 billion, as well as another $1.1 billion for public broadcasting. Final vote tally was 216 to 213. Republicans Mike Turner and Brian Fitzpatrick voting against it. The U.S. House Rules Committee also voted to advance a non-binding resolution demanding the release of Epstein-related materials, so that will go nowhere. When we come back, the K-pop craze taking on a new direction. Instead, we'll hear from the members of Universe about their journey from North Korea to the verge of musical stardom.
Wait, Noom has GLP-1 meds now?
Noom, a psychology-based weight loss company?
Yeah, Noom combines medication and behavior change, so you can lose the weight and keep it on.
And it starts at just $149.
Noom, the smart way to lose weight. When Lila was ready to sell her ring, she sent it to Worthy, where they took care of everything and auctioned it on her terms. Then, Worthy sent Lila her money. You're worthy of more. Get started at worthy.com.
I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Happiness should lead to living longer. You want to know how? On my podcast, Chasing Life, I'm uncovering the secrets of people around the world who are living happy, healthy, extraordinary lives. Hear how they do it and the science behind why it works. Join me.
People are really hoes.
And discover
how we can chase life together. Listen to Chasing Life with me, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Christiana Manpour in London, and this is CNN.
Hello, what's going on? How you say your name? Why so serious? Cause I'm gaming. That's why. I'm locked in. What's up though? My bad.
We understand there is intense firefights ongoing. I just want to go home, she says. I want my belongings, my toys, my memories. But in Kim Jong-un, you have a leader who's given a 5-year plan. How do you convince him to talk? It took some time to realise they had come to rescue him. Now, the South Korean and American line has always been that this is defensive in nature.
Okay, okay. All right, maybe.
Looking to recharge your body and soul? Taiwan is your next stop. From world-class cycling trails.
I have to think this is one of the most beautiful places to bicycle.
To the ancient art of oolong tea.
I try to keep our traditional can carry on to the next generation.
And an e-commerce travel platform for rejuvenating experiences.
We try to make Taiwan be the place for everybody.
Next stop, this weekend on CNN.
Welcome back, everyone. From rags to riches doesn't seem to cut it when describing the story of two 20-somethings who are now on the verge of global success in the world of K-pop. CNN's Mike Valerio reports their story begins in the most repressive country in the world, North Korea.
They are two North Korean defectors who could be on the verge of K-pop superstardom. Meet Hyuk and Suk, two 25-year-olds who each escaped North Korea when they were teenagers. They're now living in Seoul, determined to launch the next great K-pop band. You both have come so far from North Korea. What parts of your journey have affected your music the most? After coming to South Korea, I like writing down lyrics or phrases that I wanted to remember. A teacher saw me jotting things down and said, "You seem to like writing. Why don't you try rapping?"
I liked music when I was in North Korea. I liked singing songs or lyrics about mothers. I also wrote lyrics of songs I used to sing.
They're both members of the group Universe, with bandmates Aito from Japan, Kenny from California, and Nathan from Arkansas.
Nathan from Arkansas,
Have
bitch.
trained for more than 2 years, united in a love of songwriting.
What's a lyric that comes from a memory, and when you sing that lyric, it hits pretty deeply?
일단 in Shattered, there's a high note part. Who's gonna save us now?
That line reminded me that sometimes we all need someone's help.
저는 사실은 our songs come from our own stories and experiences. They're like puzzle pieces we put together.
They already have more than 22 million likes on TikTok and are planning to debut in America. Perhaps even teaming up with U.S. artists down the road, like we saw with Bruno Mars, for instance, and K-pop icon Rosé.
If you two could collab with any American sensation, Ariana Grande, J-Lo, Mariah, who would it be?
I really liked Post Malone's songs when I was younger. I'd love to work with him.
생각나는 the first person.
What?
Hey, what's going on, Evil? I don't know how you say your name. Evil Vonk Likey. I don't know how to say that. What's up, though? I'm playing the game. FYI. Bitch. Nothing really. How are you? I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing stuff. Like I said, we gaming, we doing stuff. I'm playing with somebody who knows what they're kind of doing, I think, hopefully. What's up with you? Like I said, bitch, I'm just following this dude because he seems to know what he's doing.
I'm sorry, the CCTV image is a little blurry. Was that a gun made of gold? There will be many locked doors in Mr. Rubio's house. Worth looking for keys, I think. It would be rude not to check the safe, I think.
I'm just trying to distract some. What does that mean? Maybe I'm just too old, but I don't understand what that means. Obviously, it means you kind of distract yourself. I don't know. Does it mean you're bored? I don't know. Oh, I'm so confused.
No sé, pero anda por aquí. Pregúntenle.
You want a good mood? I'm just not, but I'm just trying to distract some. I'm in a great mood. So why are you trying to why are you not in a good one? Mostly because of my ex. Oh Lord, what happened? It's always people always got ex issues. Like, oh, wow, I just don't understand. Maybe I'm just following him. Because, man, I had a bad history with her, but I was doing my own thing and at peace. And then she gotta bother me. I love her, but I was silent to myself and good with it. Well, you gotta speak, from the heart. You can't have things, held up. Oh, you can skip the cutscene now. Okay. Because I kind of feel used. Oh, why do you feel used? And it's messed up. Oh, well, yeah, we're in July, so it's definitely past. She knows I love her, and she asked me to come back in and did stuff I wasn't thinking about. Okay. Well, you know what? To be fair, I did. Yeah, 6 times at that anyway, suicide. From that, just talking with her again, I felt how nice that was, and I was just being some other stuff again. Okay.
Alright, let's talk.
So she asked me, even though she knows I still love her. Well, that's good. I mean, some people need reassurance.
What the hell am I thinking?
It never hurts to reassure your partner.
Stay strapped.
Before I stopped talking to her, I always told her I do and always will. Oh, that's sweet. But she took what I told her and started attacking me with it. Ooh, that's never a good thing. I was confused. Yeah, that can be confusing when you get mixed signals. I never told her how she had to feel. Good, and you shouldn't. I told her I did. Good, you gotta communicate your feelings. Good. All right. We're getting somewhere. She asked me, I was honest. As you should be, always. It's the best policy. Girl, not a little too much to drink. Excuse me. But I made it clear I don't expect anything to change her feelings. She just got distant. Well, I mean, there are ups and downs in every relationship, you know. It's not always sunshine and rainbows. You know, ups and downs, valleys and lows and all that good jazz. You know, the things. Woo! Took that SUV out. Bitch is gone. And doing weird stuff. Ooh, what kind of weird stuff? I think that's the hospital.
How are we doing out there?
For example, I texted her one time and said I was out walking, and she sent me middle finger emojis. Girl, what? Oh, God, excuse me. It is definitely time to go to bed. Bro, she got mad erratic. What? How old are y'all? I didn't even. You know what? That's so funny. I didn't even see it today. We in 20s. I kept getting attacked for nothing. Like early, mid, late. Which 20s we talking about? Because that means a lot. Oh God. Oh God. Okay, well that's like, you know, decent. I mean, that might, you know what, y'all ending things maybe